I'm using the new Facebook live feed that they have just come out with. So hopefully this works well. I had to mess with it a little bit this morning to see what's going on, but I'm ready to go. So happy Tuesday, everybody. It's 1 o'clock, technically 1:03, and I am excited to get started for today. Um, it is definitely different here today than it has been the past few days. It is pretty chilly. It's only about 50 degrees outside and cloudy, and definitely not what we've gotten used to in the past few days. So, with that being said, hopefully today you're still able to get outside if you would like to and do what you need to do, but you'll probably just need a jacket on. But the only thing you're going to need for our lesson today will be paper and a pencil again. So I am ready, and I hope you are too. My screen keeps flashing a little bit. I'm hoping that that is just the feed here with Facebook Live. So I hope it doesn't show up on the actual screen whenever to you guys, but I guess, I don't know. I guess we'll see. So today we did nonfiction again yesterday. So I thought, you know what? I am just going to share a story that I love from a series of books that I love. And I know many people out there also love these too. Today is going to be story maps. And story maps are something that you can do easily with, mostly I do these with a fiction text, and that's what I'm going to use today. But they are good review for any kind of plot information that you want to put down. So let me show you, first of all, before I get started, I'm going to draw something out for you on my board here to show exactly how a plot is organized in a text. So I like to show it on my board with my boys and girls as I say, picture a big roller coaster hill. Okay, so I like to draw my big kind of hill like this, and then it comes back down. So it's almost like a half of a triangle. Along this side is the part of the text that is called the rising action. And the rising action of a text is contains the problem. It also has lots of detail and sequence leading up to the top of that hill. And the top of a hill is usually found toward the end of a text. So I'm going to put most of the text falls into this category, the rising action. Now, I guess you could say that if you want to think of it, there could be a smaller hill, like if you're in a chapter book in several chapters, but there is always going to be a more detailed and stronger one toward the end. And this is the most intense part. So think about if you're going up a roller coaster and you're at the very, very top of it, right before you go, and you kind of grabs your stomach and you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? This is called the climax. The climax of the text is the most intense part. And that is the one where maybe there are lots of different ways that it's presented in a text. Sometimes there could be an actual fight that occurs. Sometimes it is even presented with the weather is in a fight around around the text. So I think of chapter books such as like Bridge to Terabithia has a good weather, during the climax, the weather also changes during that. Another book that I can think of is Tuck Everlasting. Tuck Everlasting during the climax has a physical climax with the characters, but also a weather pattern climax in that book too. So after the climax, and I'll draw my arrow up here, we have the opposite of the rising action, and this is called the falling action. And the falling action of a text is after the climax, and all loose ends start to get tied up. Whenever you get down to this part, it is known as the resolution. The resolution, let me see if I can move that a little bit. Sometimes people call the solution. So how is the issue solved? How are things getting fixed? And what kind of peace, if you will, is brought to the characters at the end? So you might say, well, how can that be presented in a children's picture book? So we'll talk about that whenever we do our story map here in a few minutes. So now, I am ready to show you the text that I'm going to teach with today, and it is Arthur. This is Mark Brown's Arthur's New Puppy. And I thought, you know what? We just need something that's a little fun and lighthearted to read today. So that's what I'm going to read, Arthur's New Puppy by Mark Brown. Arthur loved his new puppy, and Pal loved Arthur. He's a very active puppy, said Arthur. He's a very naughty puppy, said D.W. Don't worry, said Arthur. I'll have him trained in no time. Maybe that could be the issue. Here's your new home, said Arthur. You'll have the whole garage to yourself. But Pal did not like the garage. As soon as Arthur put him down, Pal ran and hid. He feels lonesome, said Arthur. Can he stay in the house, please, please, please? Oh, all right, said Mother, but only for a day or two. Arthur made a cozy spot for Pal in the kitchen. I thought you might need a few newspapers, said D.W. Arthur held Pal carefully, the way his puppy book showed. Look, he's so excited, said Arthur. Look at your pants, said D.W. You have excitement all over them. Oh, it's okay, said Arthur. He's just a baby. Well, I think baby dogs should wear diapers, said D.W. There are the newspapers for him to go potty, but oops. He already went potty right here. Later, Pal ate his dinner in a flash. Uh-oh, said D.W. He has that look in his eyes again. Quick, said Arthur, his leash. But when Pal saw his leash, he ran and hid. I don't think he likes his leash, said D.W. Help me find him, said Arthur. I guess he didn't have to go after all, said D.W. I was wrong. No, you were right, said Arthur. He just went. Oh, Pal. He's not doing so well getting potty trained. See, there he went. Later that night, when everyone was asleep, Pal yelped and howled until he woke up the entire family. Go to sleep, said Arthur. Pal wanted to play. Don't forget to close his gate, called Mother. Good night, said Father. Good luck, said D.W. The next morning, Arthur was still in the kitchen. Wake up, sleepyhead, said D.W., and be careful where you step. Oh, no, said Arthur. I forgot to close Pal's gate. Here's your scooper, said Mother. And you think this is bad, said Father. Wait until you see the living room. Uh-oh, here's your scooper. So he pee-peed. Uh-oh, he poo-pooed. It's like caring for a real baby. Puppies are a lot of work. Pal looked very proud of himself. My new drapes, cried Mother. My doll, screamed D.W. Bad dog, said Arthur. Pal is moving to the garage, ordered Mother. Here's the key to the garage, said Father. I'll help you move his things after dinner. Father put the key on the hall table. Boy, that's a mess, one little puppy mane. Arthur packed up Pal's things and went to get the garage key, but it was gone. The whole family searched for the key. Pal watched. It has to be here somewhere, said Mother, but the key was nowhere to be found. What do you think happened to the key? Think about it. Looks like you can stay in the house one more night, Arthur said. I heard Mom and Dad whispering, said D.W. And Pal's in big trouble. They said he better be trained soon or else. Shush, said Arthur. You'll hurt his feelings. That night, Arthur remembered to close Pal's gate. At school, Arthur told Francine and Buster about training Pal. I'm going to teach him to do all kinds of things, said Arthur. I used to have a puppy too, said Buster, but he was too much trouble. My parents sent him to the farm. My cousin had a problem puppy, said Francine. No one could train him. One day he just disappeared while she was at school. After school, Arthur hurried home. Oh, no, said Arthur. What happened? I thought I'd take him for a walk, said D.W., but when he saw the leash, he went wild. You better get this cleaned up before Mom sees it. Where is Mom? Said Arthur. In the backyard, said D.W., looking for the garage key. Have you seen my dog training book? Asked Arthur. What's left of it's over there, said D.W. Well, so Pal got the book, too. That night, Arthur gave Pal an extra training lesson. I'll help you train this beast, said D.W. Let me get my whip. No, said Arthur. Dogs respond better to love. Watch, said Arthur. He's getting better. Sit, said Arthur. Lie down, said Arthur. Stay, ordered Arthur. I know something he'll understand, said D.W. Time for a walk, Pal. He just needs a little more work, that's all, said Arthur. Look, where he tells him to stay, he's jumping. Time for a walk, there he goes. But Pal needed a lot more work. Arthur set up a training school in the backyard. On Monday, they worked on sit. On Tuesday, they worked on down. Wednesday was stay day. By Thursday, Pal was doing tricks. Good dog, Pal, said Arthur. Arthur decided to put on a puppy show for his family. When they see how well you're trained, they'll never send you away, said Arthur. Arthur got up early Saturday morning to give Pal a bath. After breakfast, Arthur's family took their seats. Welcome to Arthur's Puppy Show, said Arthur. He held his breath. What you are about to see will amaze and astound you. If Pal amazes us anymore, our whole house will be destroyed, said D.W. So this part is probably a puppy show. What's going to happen? We have the rising action, all of his mistakes he's been making, and now we're at the climax of our text. Arthur clapped his hands. Come, he said, and Pal came. Sit, said Arthur, and Pal sat. Down, said Arthur. Down went Pal. Pal even did a trick. Good dog, said Arthur. He is a good dog, said Mother. You mean he won't have to live on a farm? Asked Arthur. Of course not, said Father. Not even in the garage. No one noticed Pal run behind the rose bushes. Okay, so here is the climax. Again, it's a picture book. But what's going to happen? Well, he ended up being successful in his puppy show. Now we find out that Pal doesn't have to live in the garage, but where's Pal running to? That's part of over here, the falling action down to the resolution. When Pal returned, he sat up and wagged his tail. "Look, he has something in his mouth," said DW. "It's the key to the garage," said Arthur. "Good boy, Pal," said Father. "Amazing," said Mother. So who had the key? Pal. He knew what that key was for. That night, Arthur gave Pal a special dinner. "Time for your walk, Pal," said Arthur. "I'll get your leash." But Arthur couldn't find it anywhere. "It was on the hook a minute ago," said Arthur. "I know, I left it there." "I'll help you look," said DW. Mother and Dad helped too. "It has to be here somewhere," said Arthur. Who do you think has it? No one noticed Pal run behind the rose bushes. That naughty doggy. He's at it again. Okay, so after my text, and again, after I read my text, again, I'm going to keep this right next to me because I know if I need to, I'm going to go back and I'm going to use my text to fill in my story map. And on Friday, I showed you a character chart or a character traits kind of map. A story map is very similar to that, except for this case, we're going to list many of the different what are called story elements. And besides the plot, there are others that we're going to focus on today, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is in the middle of my text, or in the middle of my, story chart for my text, I'm going to write my title. So it's going to be Arthur's New Puppy. And then it's by, I also need to give credit to the author, by Mark Brown. And because we're handwriting a name of a title, I have to underline it. Arthur's New Puppy by Mark Brown. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to figure out places where I'm going to put my story elements that we're going to focus on. So the first one I'm going to do, I'm going to put characters up here. So this is where I'm going to list my main characters. And I know already, if you've been following my lessons, I mentioned, I think it was Friday when I mentioned about Thundercake, or in the text of Thundercake, we want to focus on the main characters. We don't necessarily have to list every single one that's in a text. We need to focus on the ones that truly showed the action. Over here, I'm going to put the setting. And the setting is where a story takes place, a text takes place. And I'm going to talk about the setting here in a minute and how descriptive you can actually be with the setting. It's more than just a location. Down here, I'm going to put events. Now, I'm not going to list every single thing that happened here. I'm going to give a very quick list of some of the most important things. And then I'm going to put my resolution. And that's how the story is easily taking, or how it is summed up. So in my events, you know what I'm going to put here in the middle? I'm going to go ahead and put my climax in here too. So this is where my rising action would be, my climax, and then my resolution after the falling action. Okay, so I'm going to start with the characters up here. My characters in this text that I'm going to focus the most on would be Arthur, Pal, of course, and the rest of his family. You might say, now what about Francine? What about Buster? They were in there. Well, yeah, they had one tiny little line on a page, but they really weren't super important in this text, except for maybe they added a little bit of the problem, making Arthur think, oh no, something's going to happen to my dog. But I'm going to focus on Mom, Dad, and DW. Arthur, Pal, Mom, Dad, and DW are my characters. The next is my setting. So a setting, we said, can be the location, but it's also maybe a time period too. So it looks like that this text, we know that it was written. Let me see when it was written. I remember it when I was young. Let's see, 1993. So yes, I was about in the 5th or 6th grade whenever it came out. I think about the 6th grade. But it could be happening right now in the present day. You don't see people wearing futuristic clothing. You don't see people wearing long ago past tense clothing. So we can say the setting is present day, which is the time period. But also, the main setting of this is at Arthur's house. Present day at Arthur's, put my apostrophe 1, 2, or a place 1, 2 early. At Arthur's home. So there's my setting. So now I could focus on my plot down here. So my first events, we can say Arthur got a new puppy. And think about how the puppy was acting. Was the puppy very well behaved? Not at all. So I would say Arthur got a new puppy, and then there are issues with training the puppy. Pal struggles to learn rules. And then the main problem is going to be that Pal may end up in the garage, right? So Pal struggles to learn rules. He might live in the garage, which Arthur really doesn't want. He doesn't want that, or he's even more afraid that Pal isn't going to be able to live at home. So my climax happens after a week of training, and it is when he gives his family the performance. So my climax is Pal and Arthur give a show after a week of training. So by doing this, and I probably next week am going to talk more about summary, and we're going to find out how sequence and summary are married. I say that they're married, where one is, the other has to come too. I start with my events, and then I add my climax. But as you can see, I'm telling this in order. I'm not jumping around in many different places, and where a reader or someone that has never heard Arthur's New Puppy, that they wouldn't be able to follow the plot of the text, which this is what this is, the plot. And so my resolution is where all the loose ends are tied up, and we find out Pal gets to live at home in the house. But I'm going to add one little thing to that. Pal gets to stay in the house, but he still doesn't like what? Walks. He still hates, let's see if I can move that, walks. So there's my resolution. I'm trying to move my chair a little bit. This one. There you go. So quickly, I was able to review this text. As you could see, we know that it's a fiction story. The story itself, we might be able to call realistic fiction, meaning it could really happen if the characters were people. A text like this has happened in many different families whenever a new puppy comes into the family. But it becomes a version of fantasy fiction because our characters have something called personification. Personification is giving human-like characteristics to things that aren't human. It makes them people. So as you could see, Arthur's family is a family, I think they're supposed to be aardvarks, if I remember correctly. They are acting like humans. So the story itself, sure, it could be realistic fiction, but it becomes fantasy fiction when the characters are animals. So that is all that I have for today. I thank you for watching and joining. I want you to share this video, please. Get the word out. I am going to continue to do these if one person watches them or if 1 million people watch them. All that I care about is that boys and girls are continuing to learn during this crazy time that we are living in. So my challenge for you, I want you to make a story map like this on a text that you have at your house. Until then, I will see you tomorrow. I want you to post it in the thread if you can. And I will say toodaloo poodles. Goodbye. See you later.